Welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about fun ideas with Google Sites. I'm really excited to share this with you. A lot of people ask about ways to get information out to the public and share messaging, share lessons. And so, this is a quick and easy way to do that without having to have any kind of coding or programming experience. So, I'm really excited to share this with you today. If you'll do me a favor and if you will make sure that your mics are all muted, that will help me. Going in. Okay, so to introduce myself, for those of you that are new to Mrs. D's, my name is Brene Duggins. I am the media coordinator at Oak Grove High School. I've been teaching for 17, this is actually my 18th year in education, and I've been in the library for 14 years. And for me and my day job, what that live in the library, so I'm with all the books, but I also help teachers and students find resources. And I help teachers integrate tools, especially digital tools, into their lessons. Well, a couple years ago, it was actually about 8 years ago, with the fire service, I was asked to do a session at the Fire and Life Safety Conference on smart boards. And since then, I have really realized that so much of what we do, or that I do in my day job, so applies to the fire service as well. So, with my volunteer side, I am the fire prevention coordinator and training captain with Holly Grove Fire Department. We're a small rural department in central North Carolina. I've been in the fire service for 18 years, and all but one of those I've been doing fire prevention and education. And so I really love what I do because I can take both of those worlds and kind of merge them. And so I can share these really cool tools that we're using in the schools with people in the fire service as well, with educators, with training officers, with chiefs, with, just firefighters, and ways that they can share information, share resources. So it's pretty cool. And then I also have my website down at the bottom, which is busybeebree.com. That is the Mrs. D's virtual PD website. And that is where I take all of these videos that we do and I post them on there. And what's really cool about it is if you can't make a live session or you want to go back and rewatch something, they'll all be posted on that website. And I'm actually in a revamp right now. So there's actually a couple pages hidden where there's going to be even more tools and resources for you. A minute ago, George was asking about coding information and websites that you can go to learn for free. Well, there's going to be pages on the new website that are going to have resources like that for you to be able to go and access. So you want to be checking it out soon. If you don't mind, if you will sign in for me, and I'm going to grab this link really fast and put it in the chat window. I do send out certificates to everybody, and I'll send you a link. Now, I am a little behind on certificates from the last couple weeks because it has been a little crazy around here. And so those will be all coming out in the next couple days. I'm getting caught up right now. So in the chat window, I do have the sign in for today's session. So please, sometime in the next little bit, please fill it out. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to first start out talking about what is Google Sites. And we're going to talk about ideas for using Google Sites. And I'm going to be honest, this list that I give you is so not an like exclusive list. There are so many other things that you can do, and that is the really cool thing. Is I'm going to give you a starting point, and then I am going to let y'all run and get creative, because there are some of y'all out there that are amazingly creative and think outside the box. So I know just giving you a couple ideas, you're going to be going, ooh, ooh, I got an idea. I know what I can do. Then we're going to get to what everybody wants to know is, what's it like creating a Google site? So I'm going to give you, you're going to have slides that you can look at later. They're going to give you the big things on how to create one, but we're going to actually pull up the site and mess with it so you can see what it looks like. And then to wrap up today, I'm going to give you some really awesome tips, tricks, and tutorial websites and links that'll really help you step up your Google Sites game. So we are going to go on and get started. So what is Google Sites? It is a free website creation and editing tool by Google. And the thing I like to go is it is free. Free. I like those, especially when we're trying to make things and we're on a budget. At school, we have a very limited budget sometimes with tools that we want to use, and the fire department is the same way. My budget is pretty limited, and we're actually making our department website with Google Sites right now. We're a Google agency, so we have one of the nonprofit accounts with Google, and so we're building our new website with Google Sites right now. Another really cool thing is just like other Google tools like Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, we can collaborate with others in real time. So if there are multiple people that are working on the same website at the same, you can be in it and working on it at the same time. You don't have to kick each other out. There were some websites, even our own school website right now, where if one person's in editing a page, I can't go in and edit that same page at the same time. But with Google Sites, you can have multiple people collaborating at the same time, which I really like. Another really awesome feature is that there is no programming or coding experience needed. You do not, like when I first started doing websites years ago, when I first started teaching, we had to know some coding. We had to learn how to do the coding in order to upload it. We used to have to use an FTP server to upload our websites. And that we had people that if they didn't have their file types right, they didn't have the formatting right, you didn't type in just the exact, type it in exactly right, it wouldn't go up right. You'd get error messages. You don't have to worry about that. Throw all that out the door. If you can drag and drop, if you can search for an image, you can do this and you can make a professional looking site. Literally, while we're doing this today, we could make a site in less than an hour. That's what's really cool about this. Another really awesome feature is these can be optimized for mobile or desktop. One of the really neat things that I like about Google Sites is it allows us to see what people will see if they are on a desktop, a tablet, or a cell phone. So we can look at our site and make sure that it looks user friendly in all three formats. And so that's a really neat feature with it as well. So we're going to get started with what can we do with this. So think about websites in general. What kind of information you want to share or want to use. So a couple of these, one could be a classroom website. It could even be a department website or like an education division website. You could curate unit lesson resources. So if you're going to be doing a unit that you're going to be going out into the public or you're going to be doing in the classroom, you could have all of your resources for that unit on this website. You may never share the website with the people, but this may be a website just for you to use while you're teaching. So you could have all of your PowerPoints listed on there. So all you have to do is go to this website, click on the PowerPoint, pull it up full screen, and teach from the website. So you could put everything on there. You could have it be a tutorial video website. So, or safety messages. You know, a lot of people are using YouTube. Well, you could have them all on YouTube, but have them in a nice and pretty format where you could have them organized. Especially, I think about math class for tutorials sometimes. Students and man, parents right now sometimes struggle with math, what it looks like right now, because the math that students are doing right now doesn't necessarily look like math that they were used to when they were in school. And so teachers could create tutorial videos and post them on a website. So if you're doing, fractions or multiplication or quadratics or, graphing, you could have tutorial videos and the kids click or the parents click. So when they get home and they're not there to ask the teacher a question, they could watch the video to see how a problem works. You could have research resources pages, and they could be specific to whatever the research topic is. We have a lot of teachers that do research papers. Well, you could have links to all the resources for that research and even the instructions or the rubric all posted in one place so that they can go back to it. HyperDoc resource landing pages. HyperDocs has been a new big term that we use in the past couple years in education. And really, what it is, for those of you that are new to that term, it's an interactive document that you can teach a lesson through. And so that's one of those that I am probably going to be doing a session on coming up in the next couple weeks, is about using HyperDocs as a resource and as a teaching tool. Another one that is so much fun, and I will jump over, I'll have to log into another account, but I love doing the breakouts and escape rooms. And students and adults and everybody that I have done them with has really enjoyed them. If you've ever been to an escape room, or have heard of a breakout box, we can make a digital version using the website. And last year, before all of the shutdown and stuff, for Banned Book Week in 2019, I created one on using a Google site. So the students had to peruse that page to look for the clues to break out. And then they used a Google form that had validation turned on. So as they entered the information or the answers, if they didn't type it in just right, then it wouldn't unlock the key. So it's a pretty cool, neat activity that could be even flipped for any subject, area, theme, even our safety messages, our fire prevention messages, it can be built for those too. Um, in the classroom, we all the time have kids that finish early, or we need an extension activity. You could have a Google site that has those enrichment or earlier finisher activities. It could be linked out to websites that they can find educational games and activities. So you could have them all in one landing page and you could give that to them. Another is if we're doing like safety messages, you could have a safety message like fun themed page, and it could jump out to things like the sparky.org website. Especially if you haven't been on there lately, they've done some new updates for the 70th birthday for Sparky, and it is amazing. There's some really awesome things on there now, but even having videos posted for them to watch. You could make an event information page. Do you have an event coming up? Today, my kids and I took them over to their school. They had their book fair outdoors. And so that, parents, grandparents, virtual kids, they could all come in and still be outside. You could have an event like that. Do you have an event that's coming up? We do some big events throughout the year. And even getting ready for something like we've got graduation coming up, or if you're doing an open house, or if you're doing a safety event, you could have one that is all about that event. So it's an easy place for people to go for all the details. You could share photos, videos, imagine it like a gallery. So it could be where people go to get updated images, videos that you've made or posted. You can save them all there and share them out. Another thing that's pretty cool that I'm seeing people do is create portfolios. And that could be you making a personal portfolio, but it also could be students making their own portfolios of their work. I think about our AP art students and them making portfolios of their work, both their physical work and the digital art that they do, and then having the reflections and the information about the pieces on there. You're going to see that we can upload all kinds of files on Google Sites. So you can have all kinds of work, links out to other things, videos posted, images posted, documents posted. So you can make it a go-to for you to store all of your information that you need to share out. So imagine going to a job interview and someone asking you for more details about something you've done. Well, you could have it all on that portfolio and be able to share that link where they can see examples of your work, examples of things you've done in the past, and even have your resume on that portfolio as well, in addition to the one that you share with them or give them physically in the interview. So there's all kinds of neat things that you can do. So we're going to start into the Google Sites overview, and this is how it works, how to build it. Now, what I'm going to show you first, and we're not going to go slide by slide on this. we're going to talk about accessing and creating a Google site, Google Sites layouts, insert tabs, pages tab, theme tabs, adding collaborators, and finishing or publishing your site. So what you're going to see on the Google Slides is you're going to see instructions for things like that. So y'all will see these and you'll get these. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through and I'm going to show you these. So we're going to look through these. So I'm going to jump out for a second and I am going to move some stuff around. So what you see on your screen, can y'all see my Google Drive? I'm hoping y'all can see my Google Drive. Somebody will type in the chat window. Yes, okay. So the way this works, the way you're going to access it is if you go to the new, when you're in Google Drive and you hit new, we're going to go down to more, and then you're going to see Google Sites. Now, you can do it that way and click on Google Sites, or you can literally come up to the top and type in Google Sites, and it's going to pull up the page for you. So you can go either way. It will get you to the same place. But if you're in Google Drive, new, more, and then Google Sites. Now, so that will bring you up to this page, like this page. And so from here, you can build a blank site. They've got an event one. They've got a template already built for events, a portfolio, a help center, projects. So they have a couple. There's small business ones. There's education ones. So you have a couple templates that you can start with. Now, from there, keep in mind, you can completely customize these and get as detailed or as simple as you want. Now, once I've started one, just a blank one, and so that is what is up here. So this is how you get that first stage, is just starting out. You turn it on and then you are here. Now, a couple things to point out. So when you're on this page, the way the layout works is at the top is going to be your title. So I'm just going to put in test site because this is our test site. You're going to have that name, just like a Google document, Google Sheet, Google Slides. You have that name. You want to name it. Don't leave it untitled, because people are notorious for doing that in their Google documents. And then when they go to their Google Drive, they have a Google Drive full of untitled documents and they're not sure what document is what. Has anybody ever done that? Students do that all the time. So that's one of those things I say right off the bat, go on and name it something. Now you've got some other things. Here is where we can change our headers. You can look at the header type. You can go through and have one that has a banner. You could have one that's just the title. You can have a small banner, a large banner, or a cover. So you've got options. Play with it. You can also change the background, like the image. So you can upload an image if you have one that you want to use, or you can select an image. And just like all of the other Google stuff, they have a gallery, but you can go to search and it will do a Google search for you. So if I want the ocean, I'm thinking spring break, the beach, anybody with me? Because I'm so ready to be on vacation. So if I want to go through, I can add the beach. So you can go through and customize it. If you've noticed, like here, this is my Mrs. D's page. I have a custom one. So I have one that has the honeycomb behind it, and I even have my Bitmoji on there. And I did that. I built that in Canva, which we've done some sessions before on Canva. So I built the image in Canva and then I uploaded it. So you've got all kinds of things you can do. Now, over on the right-hand side, there are some pieces to look at. You're going to see your publish button, and we're going to look at that one in a little bit. You're going to see an insert button. This is where all of the tools that you can add to your page are going to be. The pages button is going to show you all the pages, and we're going to go even more detailed on those. And then you have the themes, and it's going to show you what themes and text. So you've got some options there. Now, we're going to start with the insert. So we have up at the top, you have text box, image, embed code. For those of you that have seen on websites where you can embed resources from other like it could be videos, like for YouTube videos, it could be I've done Padlets, I've done answer gardens where people can interact with them. You can use the embed code. So on a lot of resources and widgets, they'll give you that embed code. So you're going to be able to do that. You can access things from your drive as well. The layout section are really cool. They are already pre-designed sections that you can literally, you just click and it shows up. I love that because then I could just go through and, well, let's say, oh, well, I don't want that one right there. Well, I can move it. It's drag and drop. So I can go through and grab, I can't talk today, grab these little dots and I can move things around. The other thing is I can actually move these around themselves. So if I don't like this one and I want to make this one wider, I can do that. I can manipulate these. So I could start with one template and then I can change it, which I really like. So I don't have to go through and try to how to figure out, well, I want this image and I want this text. It already has it for me. And if you don't like one of those, then you can click on them and delete out a section. So it's pretty cool and straightforward. So there's already some layouts. And if you notice on my page, that's what I did is I used some of these layouts to start my framework and then add my information in. Under that has even more resources. You could have a table of contents. If you're going to have a lot of stuff vertically, the table of contents really helps so that it'll jump you to the section on the website that that information is. There's an image carousel. If you want to share pictures, you can go in and add. We're just going to select some photos so you can see what it. We're going to go through and pick pictures, and it will make a carousel to pop up there. So if you have an event, if you have like I don't think it does videos, but the images, like I'm thinking about graduation right now. If you have pictures of the graduates or if you have an upcoming event, we have National Honor Society inductions getting ready to happen. We have I'm sitting here going through, we have an awards day we just did, our academic awards. You could have the pictures all pop up and rotate and parents could see it. Or you may have an event at the fire station that you did. Well, a lot of people are getting ready to start their camps, like getting ready to start for summer camps. Well, if you're advertising a summer camp, then you could go through and post pictures from previous camps for people to go through and see the activities that people are doing. Buttons. Now, the buttons are pretty cool. When you add a button, we're just going to put one like, this is Mrs. D's website. I'm just going to put it like that so you can see. You can go in and put whatever title you want, and then you're going to add the link. So you can copy and paste a link, or you can enter a link by hand. It will add a button. Now, these are kind of start off kind of boring. The cool thing is you can go in and you can change these, you can customize these, but you can also go into images. Like if you drop an image here, you can go in and create some custom buttons. And so that one is really neat because there's some other options as you go a little more in depth and more advanced. And I have a video that shows you that. Dividers. Sometimes we like to have like a line that divides up sections on our website. And so that's what the divider is. Placeholders are just like, I know I'm going to add something here, but I just don't know what yet. So I could add a couple placeholders just so that I can play with the layout. And then I can go back later and I can add things. So you could add an image, you could upload a file, you could add from your Google Drive, you could add a calendar, a map, whatever you would like. You can go back and do that. So it's a really neat way when you're working on it. And then down you'll see at the bottom, you've got calendar, map, docs, slides, sheets, forms, and charts. These are all Google related tools, even YouTube. All of these are Google related tools that we can go through and add in here. So if you want a video, let me jump back out really fast and show you. I'm trying to think if I've got one on here. Yep, I've got one embedded. So this is the North Carolina Fire and Life Safety Education Conference website. And on here, this is one of those placeholders. And we actually, when we clicked on it, we added the YouTube link. So just like you're here, if you click on it and we see YouTube, you can put in the YouTube link and it will pop up. So let me see if I can put up NFPA I Spy, if it'll find the video. Yep, there it is, I Spy Cooking. So if I do a search, now you can also put in the URL and it'll bring you the video too. So when I click on one, it selects it and I'll put insert. And now that video is on my website. I didn't have to do any embedding. I just did a search for the video and now it's straight there on my website to use. So it's really easy to add a YouTube video. If you're doing like Google Slides, it'll go through and open your Google Slides. So like here's this one. If I wanted to add it, it added it in presentation mode on my website. So now you can go through and you can click the arrows, like whenever it's in like view mode, you can click it. The people can see the slides instead of having to go through and click a link and then get to the slides. So you can actually put it straight on there, which is pretty cool. You can do the same thing with sheets, documents. You could have a Google form. If you have a request form, then you could have it straight on the website. It can be opened up and people can actually fill it out on the website. So they don't have to click a link to go to the form. They can fill it out straight on the Google site, which is pretty cool. So you can go through. The biggest thing for this is go tinker and play with it. The next is pages. Pages is where we add pages. So if you notice, whatever our home page is going to be, it has that little home icon. We can actually change something. So if I want this page to be home, I can click it. And then now this blank page is going to be my home page. So you get control of what your home page is. If we go down to this plus sign, you're going to see new link or new page. If I want the new page to be an external link and like straight go somewhere else, then I'm going to do the new link. This goes to a new URL, and it takes me somewhere outside of my website. Sometimes we do that. I think like to my school website, we have a direct link on our page that goes straight to the district website. So it looks like you're going somewhere else on our web page, but when you click it, it takes you somewhere else. That's what the new link is. New page is just going to do that. It's going to add a brand new web page for us. So here is that test page. And if you'll notice up here in the navigation, we can see that. We can also change where the navigation is on my page. We can say if it's at the top, that settings wheel, we can make it go to the side as well. So then all of it will come down this side section. So you have options with your website. So you can adjust these. You can duplicate a page. If you have a site that you need multiple pages that the layout is going to be the same, then that's what I would do, is duplicate the page and then go in and make your edits. Sub pages mean that it's like a little page below another one. So if I have a theme for, if say you're making your fire department website and every division has a main page, but like my fire prevention one, I might have the main page and then under it, I might have safety videos, request form, upcoming events. They would all be off of my single page. So that's the sub pages. Another feature that I really like is if I'm working on a website, I don't want everybody to see a page until it's ready. And so hide from navigation is one of those. So let me show you what that one looks like. Let me go back over to the Mrs. D's website because I have a couple that are hidden right this second. So when I'm under pages, right now, if you notice, only home, upcoming sessions, and work with Miss D is on the top of the website. When I'm under pages, you're going to see an X like through the page, Mrs. D's favorite tools, the new home page, CRR sessions, and PD sessions. Those are all new pages coming, and they have lines through them because I am still working on those. I don't want those to be live yet. So that when the page is live, all that people see are the ones that I want them to see. So you can click hide in navigation and make a page disappear. And so only people would see home and test right the second, not that untitled page. Let's see, I'm making sure there's nothing else with this one. The next one is the themes. And this one is really cool because it allows you to manipulate it gives you a starting point with the text and the layout. So like if I go to the diplomat, it changed and gave me a block, but I can also change the colors if I want. This is where I can adjust and change all of this. So if I want it to give a blue look, I can change in the color and the font this way. If you know the hex color number, like you can type it straight in and it'll go straight to that color. So like my school color is a very, very specific shade of blue, and I have the number stashed beside my desk. So when I'm doing anything with my school website, I can go in and change this number. But if you do not have that number, you can go through and make adjustments and toggle and drag this anywhere you would like to change the color. So you have all of those options, which are pretty cool. So you just click on whichever one you want, and then from there you can go and adjust. And you can also, when you click on text, come up and you have fonts, just like you do in Google. Like in a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, you can go in and make those changes. So they have been adding, this is something that they have been tweaking and adding. The new Google Sites has been out for almost 2 years, and they keep updating. So keep checking back because they keep adding new options, new resources. So that's a pretty cool feature also. One of the other things people ask about is collaborating with people, and this plus sign is like the share button. If I want somebody to work with me, this is how I do it. And I can go in and I can add somebody. So I'm going to add myself. This is my school email. And then I can say, do I want them to be an editor or do I want them to be just a published viewer? So they would see the published changes. I can also say, give them a message, I can notify them, and I can hit the send button. Now, I can change this. I can also look at the links and say, draft restricted. Only people added can open with this specific link to see the draft. I can also say that, anyone on the internet can find and open the site. Do I want it to be a public site or do I want it to be restricted? Restricted means only people I share it with would be able to see it. And so if you're going to do something that you want parents and students to see, or if you're doing something for a department and you want the community to see, you're going to probably want it to be a public site. So that's something to look at. We also talked about making it viewable on multiple devices. If you want to see what it looks like, and I'm going to go back to like that home page where we've got some stuff down here at the bottom. Up here where you see this, it looks like a laptop and a cell phone. This is the preview. So when I click it, it is putting it into a preview mode. So this right now, there are 3 types of previews. You have a large screen, which would be a laptop or a desktop. You have one that is a tablet. So if you noticed, the menu right here disappears because the screen is smaller. It's in the drop down. The one on the far left is a cell phone. So this drops it, and it also, the menu is up on the side as well. So when I scroll down, I can see what it looks like on each of these devices. I can also test links. I can push play on things. I can see, does it actually take me where it's supposed to go? And so go through and play with it so that you know what it looks like on each of those devices before you push the publish button, because nothing beats, I've been on websites that were not mobile friendly. They were not user friendly when you went on a cell phone. And so that is one of those things that you want to check on and test. The next thing is the publish button. This is how you make your website live. Now, a couple things to pick out. Right off the bat is this web address. Now, your URL, if you do not have your own domain, you will have a website that includes this sites.google.com. And so like if we go through and I put in, we're going to put in Mrs. D's test. When it's looking, you're going to see, if I start typing something in, this right here is what the website would be, this whole thing. If it has a check mark, that means that that web address is open. If it has a green or like an X, it's like a red X, then that means you got to find something different. Now, if you have a domain, then you could do a custom URL. And that is what my Mrs. D's website has. So with mine, I'm wondering if it'll pull up for me. This is what my website has if I go through and I give straight the website. I have a custom domain. So I'm not going to go in and mess with it because it'll mess up what's already on mine. But I have a custom domain on mine. So that's where the Busy Bee Bree is. So if you have a custom domain, then you can go in and hit that. You can go in and use that and it will link this together. This one is where you can manage who sees your site. You can go through, like we said, do you want it to be on the public? Do you want it to be draft restricted, or the published site to be public or restricted? If I'm doing something with a specific class, I may want it to be restricted to just members of the class. If it's a site I want everybody to be able to use, then you want to make it public. There also is a button here that requests public search engines not to display it. Sometimes there may be reasons you don't want somebody doing a Google search or a Bing search to come across your site. And so if I'm doing one that's like one of my breakouts, I don't want people to search it and find that breakout. I don't want them going through it if I'm using it just with my students. So I usually check that in those cases. And then once you've got all that, then you'll hit the publish button, and that button will turn blue, especially when you have a web address typed in up here. So simple as that. Like literally, if you've got your documents together or know what you're going to put on there, you can drop in pictures, text very, very quickly and have a basic website up within a matter of minutes, which is pretty cool. Any questions so far? And they can be, if you've got questions, you can type them in the box while we're doing that. They can be pretty simple. Like this one's pretty straightforward. It's got links to the videos and handouts, to a Google form. I mean, this one's not crazy detailed. It's getting ready to change a little bit. I'm going to go a little more detailed. The one with, let me jump back out, and the one for the conference page is a little bit more. It has instructions by videos. It has links. So like this one has those embedded videos. Let me go to the, so we've got like sessions, there's more videos embedded, like how that works. Then you've got the videos, and there's Q&A forms, survey forms. So there's lots of things. There's pictures, there's files. So there's all kinds of things that can be found on the website. So definitely, play with it. That's the biggest thing that I will tell you is go through and play. Let me drop this back in so we can get back to the slides. So all the slides will have the details for you through those different pieces. The last thing today is these tips and tricks. These are some really awesome videos and websites. Ditch That Textbook. I love him. He in person for sessions is amazing. He has a really awesome website that has 20 Google Sites tips and tricks. And they are things like we've talked about, and there's also some even like some awesome ones, even more so, that give you ideas. Here's ones for getting started with Google Sites. There's some for students if they're creating their own portfolios, which is awesome. And then how do you use these in, like, so it's ideas. Here's one about the hyperdocs, and it gives examples. So being able to see people's, I was looking to see if they have the digital escape rooms. I'm not sure if this is going to have one. This one talks about how to create the digital escape room. Let me jump over really fast and see if I can get my digital escape room to pop up so I can show y'all really fast. Let me put it in preview mode so we can see it. So like this one right here is, this one was freeing the book. So there was this, Garrison Grizzly was trying to, somebody was trying to ban Garrison Grizzly, who is our mascot, is Grizzlies, a book. And so students had to go through and save the book. They had 30 minutes, and there are all these clues. So there's text messages, there's a thing about the Bill of Rights. There is, like, it looks like a ransom note. There's a diary, and they have to go through and figure out based on these clues. And even this bottom banner is a clue. And so, like this one, for example, if you notice, it gives the words "the hate you give" in red. Well, that is the title of a book. And so that is one of the answers. So when they go through, they have to answer with those clues in the lock to go through and to break out. So this one's a fun activity. The students, everything is built in this Google site. And so all of the interaction, all of the activities the students do are on this particular page, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Let me go back over. I've also got on here 3 YouTube videos. One is a tutorial for beginners that goes step by step creating the like a Google site. The 10 tips for beginners and power users. This one's pretty cool. It reminds you of a couple things, but it also gives you some next steps of, well, this is how it starts. This is how you can make it even better. So that one's awesome. And then creating the amazing buttons in Google Sites is taking the plain button and turning it into something fun. It could be a picture of a fire truck. It could be a picture of, you know, a math problem or a science, you know, a location from science or history or something. It could be an image and you turn it into the fun button, or it could be decorative or however you wanted it to be. So it gives you lots of options. Another thing that you can totally do, I'm thinking through like what people have been doing in the past and what I've seen departments do or teachers do. A lot of classes have interactive pages, very much like the Bitmoji classrooms, that the participants engage with to go places and see things. Those can be embedded on these websites and they're usable that way. So when you embed those on the website, especially in that preview mode, they can still interact with them on the website without having to pull the actual document up. So that's a pretty neat way that you can use these as well. Let's see. Don't forget, if you did not sign in, please sign in to the sign-in sheet. Let me drop that back in the chat window if anybody came in late. And then if you have questions, this is your chance to ask. I can jump off here and go back to the Google site if there's something that you have a question about or wondering, does Google Sites do a specific thing? We can go look at it and I can show you. But thank y'all so much for coming, and I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye, guys.